This is going to be a 6 element vertical for 70 centimeters, or whichever part of the band you want or you prefer. It will be adjustable. 50 ohms output, spot on SWR, adjustable, linear loading using the Herbert matching method. I know you've never heard of that. Something I've just made up, but no one else is using it. These are the measurements. Right, you possibly never heard of 230 degrees, but it is the length for an extended double ZEP for HF. No one seems to be using it for VHF, UHF. I've been using it for about 3 years with success for 4, 6, 2 and 77s. So that is the longest element, the vertical element. 115 degrees is the quarter wave of that, of course, because that is classed as like a half wave. If it was a full wave, it'd be 460 degrees. So it's a quarter wave of that, or the full length of that. It's 203.5 mil. These must be exact measurements. So when you're using wire, what we're going to make it of, wire, insulated wire. Right, you can't see that copper. There's copper in there, about 2 mil. This is insulated wire. Make it a light colour. You need a light colour to mark it with a biro. If it's dark colour, you're never going to do it. You need these measurements, 407 mil, and with a dark colour you're never going to mark it with a biro. Now this is how our quarter wave section is going to be, is like this. You see that? This chop block, small chop block, it's probably 5 amp, will be tie wrapped to our fiberglass pole. Any fiberglass pole, 5 meter whip from the fishing shop will do ideally. This will be this way up, like you can see it in the drawing. That's how it will be. So there will be 5 of those and 6 verticals. Trust me, it worked very well, but I built it with, would you believe, twisted pair telephone wire, 6 core twisted pair, and it worked absolutely unbelievable. But now making it with some decent wire, and this time I may get it up on the chimney with a decent bracket, decent connecting bracket. Worked absolutely fantastic. Those are critical. I'll show you how to get that length on my way to marking it out. So there they are again, look. So times all that by all these you need. Get that length of wire. I think it's about 8 foot, maybe 9 foot, when it's maybe 10 foot of wire. Not much, is it, for a good gainy antenna? So it will be 6 elements, not 6 5/8, 230 degrees, not 5/8, 225 is 5/8, maybe 220 degrees. So it's a little bit longer. It's an extended double ZEP length, and you know what an extended double ZEP gives you? 3 dB horizontally, but it is only a mono bander. You only get 3 dB from an extended double ZEP broadside to the antenna on one frequency only. As soon as you move frequency with that same antenna, it doesn't give you any extra gain or power, just a dipole then. Now you need to make a jig up like this on something straight like a sink. There's 203.5 and oops, the sun is out of this world. There's 407. So you'll measure 407 first and then one 203.5 and then 407 again, and do that 5 times for 115, 6 times for 407. Mark it with a pen. I can't see because the sun's shining through the window, but I know I'm on the right spot. When you start from the lower end and work up to the top, push it against this straight background like the sink, this old sink. Start from the bottom and hold it with your fingers until you get to this top here. Don't just stretch it out and let it curl up and then mark it. You've lost a mil, you lost 2 mils, and there's no way you're going to get exact. You got to work it up. It's not too far. 407 mil. Just work it up with your fingers, pushing it against the back. Let the left hand side drop, curl up, but hold the wire to this straight edge at the back till you get to the top here. Hold it with his 2 fingers like this. Mark it with the pen. Now the next one will be 2203.5, so half of this which will be there when I can let go of the camera. So I'll start there, push it against the back like that, the wire, while the left hand side drops away, but you keep it taut by holding it to the back till you get to that mark. Hold it with the 2 fingers on the left while marking it, scribing it with the pen with the right hand, and do that, and then you can go back, you can count. Don't use wire that's already got markers on it because you're going to lose it. If you're not certain how many you've done, just go back and check it. Within 5 minutes you'll have it all done. And the super antenna, maybe. Okay. If you want to, you can have this piece of paper with your way marking it out. Tick that, you've done the first. Tick that, you've done the second. Tick that, you've done the third. Tick that, just tick, tick, tick till you get to the top. Then you know you've done them all. Make sure you can read the pen markings when you pull. When you're finished, okay. When you get to the top, don't do anything. You've got some spare wire left, I'm sure. Go and check your markings, but you don't want to start cutting anything off and you think, oh, there's only 5 elements. With your last element, the top of your last element, don't use snippers because you're going to lose 2 or 3 millimeters with the snippers and you can't accurately cut it. Use a Stanley on the mark. Can you see the mark? The pen mark. And then use one of these plastic or something underneath so you don't damage any work underneath or worktops. Because you can get it right to the end and they do bend a little bit, these CD separation things. You can see where I've done it before where it's all scratched. So that is the top element, the top of the element, the top of the antenna. Okay. You'll need 5 of these small chop blocks. They aren't the miniature ones. They may be 5 amp because this one is a 10 amp, and then there is a little smaller one. So you just need 5 of those. And that, just to tell you, is the total length of the wire you will need. 3.460 we'll say. so a little bit longer than that. So you need 5 of these, and then now you've got a thread through. So right, you need one. Loosen the screw off from either side. You can actually take that centre one out if you want to. It doesn't make any difference, it won't interfere with the antenna. It'll make it a bit more stable being inside, but you know, loosen the screws off so that you can get the wire through both the outside ones. So starting from the bottom element, which is that one of course, you see the mark, the first mark is there, and the second mark will actually, well, all this wire here will shove through there. Don't let it twist itself, keep it nice and straight, and then the next mark, which will be for the quarter wave or the 115 degree wavelength, electrical wavelength, it wants to be on this side here, because these will be coming vertically. And then what you'll end up is what I showed you earlier, the half loop, the quarter wave loop. So all this wire will be shoved through here, and you'll have that, you'll see your first ink mark. There we go, they're tightened up. You don't want to be going through the insulation, but these brass screws and that will not make any difference to the antenna whatsoever. So there's your first loop. There is your first loop from the bottom. So you just work your way up. Of course, all the wires got to keep going through. Try and keep these in line. You can twist the wire before you tighten it up to, well, untwist it. Keep it straight. So these are all nicely in line. I don't believe it makes any difference whatsoever, but it looks neater, doesn't it? Bit of satisfaction when you look at the antenna. Try and keep all the wires straight from twisting. You know, I mean, this was actually nearly like a figure 8. So you just twist it and then tighten it, twist it so it's straight, and then tweak on them screws, and it holds like that. So work your way up. Now the next one is for the next vertical. So that was the first one. Now of course you'll have to thread the chop blocks in from the top now, but on a flat surface you may find it, to keep the wire in line, is to do it like this. So that's the first marking, the second marking, well, the first marking for the next element. So, and then when we've done this one, because of course this wire will be going back into there and then coming out again just like this one. So then you may be able to move this one to this side and then thread the next one. Try and keep the chop blocks all the same, in the same direction, or flat. If you want to do it on the floor, on the carpet or the lino or whatever you've got, big worktop. But this is the second element there, look, you see, and this will be the second loop when it goes through there and then to the next element. I don't know why it just went off then. So this is how I've mounted it on an 8-foot cane. I say you can use anything you want, but I suggest an old X50. It's only 1.3 meters in length, but the bracket at the bottom is exceptional, you know, for mounting on a 2-inch pole. So you take out all the gutters, the elements and the coil from the bottom with the grub screw. You undo the grub screw, take everything out, the radial's off, and then you slip over a 3-2 meter whip, make sure it slips over from the top, and then you just tie wrap it, tape it, and then you've got yourself a nice vertical with a good bracket on it. This is the matching section. This is the element, the lower element. Of course you know what these are, but these are the extra ones. These are 10 amps, they're a little larger, so we get a little bit wider, because this is what we're going to use for adjusting our SWR. Now we're on 77s and it doesn't need much to move to change the frequency, trust me. Now this extra length here, because that one is terminated there, these are 2.2 stainless steel rods. Go around to your local welder, he'll give you a couple of rods for a couple of quid or what, but I've purchased a box full because I've used them on other projects. Now I won't leave it on this cane, because as soon as it gets wet everything is going to change. It's going to be a radiator itself near enough. It's not going to do it any good. It's got to be on a plastic, non-conducting. But this extra length, because this one finishes this side, is only because I've got one extra long, longer than this of course, but it seemed to work with that, whether it does help it or not. So the total length on this side is about 280 millimeters, and it is terminated at the bottom this side is what, let's see now, it's 210 mil. This side's 210, that side's 280. So you can make one of these up quite easy. You just need one of these and you do some soldering and all those things. You can see what I've done. Of course this has got to go to the centre, because this is a radiating element. This is just that side. It would be nice if you could buy these, but you can't. So this is the 10 amp one. Chop block. Right, I'll show you how it tunes up. I've just got it lying across a chair in the kitchen. I don't have a very expensive antenna analyzer. I do for HF up to 170 megs. This was the best option, or the cheapest option at the time. I've already checked the frequency out with my other antennas, that is clear, so I can go on a simplex frequency and test. There's no one using it. So you really may want to put some low loss SO239s, BNCs and other connectors, but for this demonstration this is going to do. We're using a handheld for testing, 5 watts, and we're on 425. We've only just set this up halfway from the bottom, just tightened those. We haven't done any testing, we just tightened them up, and we're putting 5 watts into this. Now what's that? 5 watts. Look at the SWR. shows you, doesn't it? Go on to now it probably won't be resonant, but a quick test. Right. Well, it's not bad though, is it? But it is horizontal. It's only just a line here. If I moved it around, it may be a better signal. That's a local repeater on 77s. Better than that on the rubber duck, but you know, get it outside. There she goes. Well, you see how it is, full length on the cane. Now of course this is not a permanent fitting, and you can see it's longer than the 8-foot cane. It does work, it will work, and that's all you need for tuning, for matching that shore length. You can of course, or you will need to seal everything. You won't need to seal the rods, but just this SO239 in a little carton, little plastic vitamin carton, something like that, with a couple of little small holes in the top, sealant, just covering the thread and the 259 or BNC or whatever you're going to be using. See you later. DB antennas. Wow.